Okay guys, here we are back at this sheet. So one thing that you might want to prevent is using the use of helper function, and the reason is quite simple, that it destroys the beauty of your sheet. So uh, if you want to save the beauty of your sheet, one way is quite clear. You can hide it from here at the top. You can hide the column and still use it over here as reference in reference of helper function. But the other way is to completely delete this and in fact use an array function to overcome the challenge of, or to replace or eliminate the role of helper function. So what we will do is we will now try out our first array function over here using our looking backward function, that is the combination of match and index function. So let's start with our first array function, and it goes like equals index, and then in the index first thing is the entire range array, and then followed by row number, and for row number what we use is match, and in the match the first thing is lookup value. So I want to look up this cell and this cell. This is where the array function has gotten into role here, and then I want to look up the first value in this range, first name, and the second lookup value in this range. And when I have when I have the match, so first of all I will enter 0 here, so because I want an exact match. Now I'm out of my match function, so it will return the respective rows over here. And moving on to the column, so what I want to get the column is that grade, that is 4th over here and 4th, and I'm going to close the brackets. And now if it would have been, it were like a general function, what you hit is enter on your keyboard and you get the output. But in this case, if you will hit enter, you will get an error. For dealing with array function, there is a way to execute them. You press Ctrl plus Shift plus enter on keyboard. So Ctrl Shift enter. Now you can see that over here, please ignore this because Aditya Mishra doesn't exist in the list, that is why it is showing error. I will quickly convert it to Ayush Mishra, and it will show the correct result. But anyway, what happened over here, the first thing you should note is that the entire function got enclosed inside this curly brackets, not any bracket, not the normal ones, the commonly used brackets, but the curly brackets. So this itself, oops, Control Shift Enter. So this itself, the curly brackets, denotes that this function is an array function. And if you ever try hitting enter on this, you will get an error. You have to press Ctrl Shift Enter. That's the way of executing array function. So now we don't need helper functions. We can simply use two lookup columns to look up at and match the corresponding rows, get the corresponding row, and in the selected range use those rows to get the output.